Welcome to this new house that I bought. Actually, it's not that new. I bought it last December. There's a lot of excitement right now over Japanese real estate. A lot of it is overhype, but it is real. If you've watched my other series, Our House, you've seen our experiences buying land and building a house in a small village in the Japanese Alps called Hakuba. Great experience. I highly recommend that you watch that show. And right now, I'm actually sitting in a house that I bought. This is a abandoned house, or Akiya is what they're called. It wasn't actually abandoned. That's going too far. But the person who was living in the house was moved out of the house because they were quite old. During the subsequent months, they died. But the house was maintained for a couple of years after that by the family. And then they went ahead and sold the house. So the house hadn't had anybody living in it for a few years. However, it was very well maintained. And as you can see, it was in pretty good shape when I got to it. This house is also in the Japanese Alps. In the neighboring village, a little bit larger town actually, and it's a beautiful, pristine area. We're really excited about developing this house into some kind of lodging or guest house for people in ski season. Great to start in the ski season, but year-round, because this area is absolutely beautiful year-round, and it doesn't have the level of tourism that we're seeing growing up in Kyoto and Tokyo and other places where there is just an influx of tourists over the past couple of years, and a lot of excitement to come to Japan, which is very exciting for me because there's a lot to see in Japan. Japan's a beautiful place. I've been here for 13 years. I'm very, very happy here, and I believe that it's an experience that everybody should have. But maybe it's not advisable to go to Tokyo or Kyoto. Maybe it is advisable to get into some of the more off-beaten places, off the beaten track, so to speak. And so I'm hoping that this area where I live will become one of those areas, and maybe this will become a guest house for people to enjoy that experience too. But we're a long way from that now. There's a lot to do, and I want to talk about the business of real estate and Akiyas for the time being. I also will share a little bit about what we're doing and what we've had to do for this house. One of the things that I think you'll find in buying an Akiya in Japan is, at the very, very least, it's probably going to need some work in the water area. So kitchens, bathrooms, toilets, sinks, things like that probably are going to need complete renovations. And there's some logistical problems associated with that, because in Japan, you have to be a licensed plumber in order to work in water areas. And that's a requirement by Japanese law. So, I suppose people don't take that seriously at times, but that is the law. So you may have to face that going in if you're looking to buy an Akiya yourself. One of the interesting things that's happened over the past year is that the real estate business in Japan is not jumping up, but it's steadily increasing. And so real estate prices went up 1.4% over the past year. This is unprecedented in recent years in Japan, which has seen a constant downward trend, especially in popular areas. Actually, the northern Japanese Alps, the area in which I live, has seen about a 25% increase in land value. So that could be good news, could be bad news, depending on how you look at it. Also in Okinawa, there is an area called Miyakojima, which has had 26% increase in land value. So that's huge. But the whole country is actually seeing this uptick in land value, and a lot of that is due to foreign investment. So this is very real. A lot of people are coming into the country looking for permanent homes or looking for vacation homes they can enjoy, even if it's just a few weeks out of the year. It's very affordable and very livable. So this is real. An additional thing that I heard is that Tokyo has become the #1 city for real estate investment, largely due to foreign investors. And this is causing some problems inside the Japanese economy because the locals are less able to afford it. The foreign investment is kicking up prices so high in some of these areas, the prices is too high for the locals. They're being priced out of the market. There's definitely some negatives and some frustration due to some of this development as well. But at the end of the day, seeing that uptick in overall land value in Japan is it's promising. A lot of that is due to this Akiya buying. So what is an Akiya? First of all, an Akiya is an abandoned house. It's often called abandoned house. Sometimes they are absolutely abandoned, have been abandoned for years. In many cases, no one's living in the house anymore, but maybe someone is taking care of the house. We hope that would be the case. And obviously, you want to look for a house that's in pretty good shape. How long have they been abandoned? Well, maybe a year, maybe 20 years, maybe 6 months. So that's obviously going to be a huge part of the equation too, along with how well the previous owner was able to take care of the house before they moved out. In a lot of cases, especially these country houses, were owned by older people. Maybe they had limited capability to take care of their house financially or just physically. And so you'll see that some of the houses are really kind of falling apart around them. And that's very unfortunate, but it is a reality and something to be aware of. In addition to the water areas that I mentioned earlier, those are going to be almost 100% guaranteed that you're going to need to do some renovation. Sometimes electrical is a problem. Then you got to look for the problems you look for in any house. Is there a leak? Can you find indications of leaks in the roof? Obviously, that's going to be a huge problem because there'll be water damage you can't see. Termite problems. Japanese houses are wood frame houses. Sometimes termites can do huge damage. Foundation problems. If you've watched my other series, Kominka, about Francois Girard and his old house that he bought up in the mountains, also in the Japanese Alps in a village called Miyasa, his house, his giant Kominka, had a foundation problem. He literally had to lift the house up and rebuild the foundation underneath. Very expensive process, not something that he could do by himself. And despite the fact that he's working hard on sustainable and traditional, as much as possible, renovation of his house, he had to go in with a group of people and create a new foundation for his house. So those less maybe visible things could come as surprises when you're shopping for an Akiya. So it's really important to also have it inspected. Have one of the local inspectors have a look at it. They're not going to see everything either, but they've got a better eye than you, probably, maybe. And so they may know what to look for. And maybe you have a very good eye for construction. However, Japanese construction can be different. And so having that awareness can also be important. This is an exciting time, I think, right now in Japan. There's a lot of possibility. These old houses like this, frankly, are not appreciated by the Japanese. This to them looks old. This looks like grandma's house. But to us Westerners and foreigners, this kind of looks like an ideal Japan. This is like how we envision Japan. And so these old houses can really have a lot of value to the foreign investor who's looking for that authentic, fully Japanese experience. And so that's why these old houses are so exciting. Not to mention the fact that a lot of times they are built very well. The house that I'm sitting in right now is 100 years old, but it doesn't creak. It holds together very well. We hope. We haven't found anything hidden yet. Hopefully we won't. And if that's the case, then these houses are incredibly sturdy and very earthquake resistant because of the wood frames. And so the way that the houses were built in the old days especially, with a lot of wood joinery and not a lot of nails, that allows the houses to really move with the quakes, and it makes them very safe. And this is definitely earthquake country, so that's something to be aware of. So I'm really excited about what this series is going to become. And what I want to talk about is my various experiences with real estate, with houses, with inspections, some of the foibles that we've hit along the way, and we've hit a lot. Some of the lessons we've learned along the way, and we've learned a lot. And also take you through the experience of working with this house as we get it ready to become a lodging or guest house. So welcome to Adventures in Real Estate. I can't wait to get started with this series. Thanks for joining me, and look for us again next week.